if you're here, let's talk about day 2. And we'll never talk about day 1 again. This is the Ballista Banner Tactician now. What you're seeing here is the new setup that I'm currently running. The skill is called Mortal Cannon, but it's actually described as a Ballista Totem. So with the Dream Seal live, let's talk about how we can progress this character to map. This is me doing a tier 7 map in the background with all the modifiers. As you can see, we are able to dish out a lot of damage. I have not done any like high HP boss yet, just map boss in general for progressions. It is also not the tankiest characters, but we probably won't get one shot very easily given that how I set this character up. And I'll go into the defensive layers a little bit later and how I'm currently setting up my characters. Very budget, but also very interesting as well. With that being said, the concept by itself, I learned a lot from Pauser on stream. He has been playing this from day 1, and he has been absolutely blasting it. My setup is a little bit different than his, but a lot of the original inspirations does come from the stream. So anyway, let's talk about my day 2 setup. I think we can finally settle on something for day 2. We will have Banner, and we'll be using explosive shots and together with mortal cannons to create chain of explosions, and this will overlap and kill monster very easily. We have a lot of early game borrow power to keep this build extremely budget, which you can kind of run right out of the campaign. Painter Servant is there to help us run trinities, and we'll have the banners by itself, just skills. You place it down, you put in some passive points, and it's good. And we also have the Ascendancies for that. And I'm using Veil of the Night for my defensive, so we don't have to get any resistant gears, and pretty much everything is just very cheap at this point. You only need to have a good weapon. Alright, so since I have already mentioned Veil of the Night, this is my helmet. And Veil of the Night essentially gives you massive amount of maximum life. We are using our HP life as the mitigation pool. We'll have absolutely no elemental resistance, and you cannot modify this number, so this number is an absolute 0, which means that you do not have to run resistant on anywhere else on your gear, so it's good. You can focus on stacking your strength and life to get as much maximum life as possible, and that is my plan going deep into red map as well, because right now we have the elemental damage taken as with armors for a little bit of mitigation, so it should be fine. And if you have a large HP pool anyway, so armor is good against the small hits, right? I don't want to get too deep into this, but armor is good against small hits, and if it applies to elemental damage, it helps a lot for small hits. But also having a big HP pool also helps against big hit as well, so that is going to be something I want to test out to see if it really helped this patch, at least for the budget side of the gear. So yeah, very cheap. Helmets only about 2-3 chaos at this point. Next we have Painter Servants. Again, another very cheap budget options to stack up your Trinity. And you can kind of just put this in. You don't have to do anything extra. And throughout the map, you probably have 2 to 3 elemental up all the time. And then for the rest of the gear, you can just kind of like pick up whatever. Most of my gear, I picked it up myself. Even this ring, I think it's actually quite expensive. But if I were able to run this, I can probably run 2 of them. Just focus on getting currency in the early games is also very important. Boots, you just need 30% more speeds. And for the setups, you just need as much life as possible. And rarity is also a plus. I'm using Coward Legacy Belt. Probably something I'm gonna swap later for an armor belt. But right now we are picking up some really nice low life note around the tree. I'll show you a bit later. And for the amulets and body armor, just make sure you pick up some spirits, because for my current setups, I'm running all the spirits that I can run. You can probably make some adjustments so you don't have to like run the exact number of spirit that I'm running. But yeah, just be flexible. Now I do have 2 sets of crossbows, and the first one is the one that I was actually using in the late part of the campaigns. And this one I just recently picked it up because we have to pick it up. If you want to use mortal cannons, grenades, you need to have an implicit that give additional projectile for grenade skills. And it's also nothing special. It's about 300 DPS. Just focus on getting as much fist as possible. And for the other crossbow, just physical damage. Elemental damage with attack also helps pretty much because we are using explosive shots. Or another thing I want to say is for the charm, I'm running Stone Charm for stun immune. We do have this thing called Dread Banner. It gives us a lot of elemental ailment threshold. And so you kind of, if you can put this down, you don't have to worry about getting frozen, shocks, and chills, just a little bit less. And then I have the Golden Charms. This is for increased rarity. Again, just like probably I'm looking to reroll into something else, right? So I want to get as much out of this character as I can. So it's going to be something that I want to be very budget, and it's going to do a lot of damage. And we can scale this to maps where we can farm currency. Now, a very important flask that I got this flask very early on, but a very important part is if you do have a flask like this, it's going to help you a tons. It's have gain charge per seconds, and it has instant life recovery. I can't tell you how many times it has saved me. And if you want to have a really good flask, this is something you look for. And for the mana flask, doesn't really matter. All that matters, you have a really good instant recovery flask with gain charges per second. Onto the skill gems setups. I'm currently running all the slots already, so it's something I kind of planned for, and I think it's pretty optimal at this point. We are running 2 active skills. The first one is Oil Grenade. This is our exposures apply. So I'm running Rapid Attack, multi-shots, so you can have multiple of those oil grenades. And the last thing is Potent Exposures. This will give you exposures. You want to throw this oil grenade out after you have your cannons. Just throw them out together and build them up together with the explosive shots. And yep, the main star of the show. This is something I didn't actually want it to play, but it's likely going to be the best options. This is one of the best detonator skills in the game right now. It's instant, it shoots 3 times, and it has huge amount of explosions. So yeah, I have explosive shots with rapid attack, multi-shots, so we have 3 explosions, huge attack, good damage with elemental armament, and you want to do good damage on this so you can kind of scale up the Painter Servants to have those elements. And for the last slot, I'm using Ratha Assault. Now this one gives you, you cannot reload your weapons, but it will reload 3 bolts whenever you do a dodge roll. Now, right now, I am on the MTX, so I can't dodge roll, but if I were to play space, it looks something like this. You can see the bolt is added into the original shots, right? Essentially, we are using this to add more bullets and help us have a smoother gameplay, but also to avoid the bug that is happening in the game right now with the crossbow, where if you are interrupting the reloading mechanics, it's gonna stuck at 0. So yeah. So this is the start of the show, mortal cannons, and clearly it's saying here, Ballista Totem. So yeah, Ballista Dream is still alive. And I'm running explosive grenades, payloads, multi-shots, and urgent totem. So a few things to note here is that payload is extremely strong because it allows you to activate a second time, and on the passive skill tree we also have nodes to do that. So it's a very high chance that your grenade's gonna activate a second time, which is why you can kind of see those chain explosion. And then multi-shot to have more projectiles, always good. Overlapping projectiles on grenade is probably one of the strongest mechanics in PoE 2 currently. Urgent Totem is very good. It gives your totems increased attack speed, but mostly because of the totem placement speed. You can kind of see we run around, place this very fast, and we can shoot. Just make mapping a lot better. And usually totem speed, placement speed in PoE 1 also related to the stats where your totems will start attacking faster, but I haven't noticed any noticeable difference in PoE 2 yet. Next up, I'm running a bunch of auras, and if you don't have enough spirits, you can probably drop Overwhelming Presence. Other than that, you know, I'm running all the banners. On bosses, I'm dropping all 3 banner at once, like that. And then we have a huge area where we can just run inside the banners, we drop our totems, and we keep attacking. And as long as our attack will connect, we can permanently have all of our 3 banners up very easily from the combinations of the Tacticians, Ascendancies, and also a few glory generation points on the passive skill trees. With that being said, we are running the same toon link on all of our 3 banners with the prolonged durations and also magnify area. I should also have it on my war banner as well, but probably something I'll add later. There's new support gems in PoE 2 called Refractions, and this is why I have the idea of running with Veil of the Night. So we have Refraction 2. It's a refractive plating, costs 30% of armor to apply to elemental damage, hit taken, right? So this is an aura that gains from putting down your Defiance banner, which is ironically your best banners in this batch because you have armor and evasions. You also run faster, so you probably want to use it for most of your map. And if you want more damage, then feel free to use war banners. And dread banners is used for situationals where you have to fight enemies with elemental damage. Most of the time you'll be running one Defiance banner in maps, and it's pretty useful. This one gives you incredible movement speed and also give you more armor and evasion rating. Once again, go back into the more armor here, and eventually we'll be scaling with the deflection as well. Refraction 2, pretty good. And we also have Refraction 3 as well. And from the wording, I believe they don't really stack together, which is why you can kind of use one for Refraction 2 and one for Refraction 3. Essentially give you an elemental exposures for the enemies, maybe to do less damage for you, depending on your armor. So that's all the 3 banners. Remember, Defiance banner for generic mapping. War banner on bosses, rare packs if you want more damage. Dread banner whenever you see those elemental effects and you don't want to get frozen. But other than that, yeah, pretty simple. Now I'm running a Mirage Archer. Now there are multiple ways you can run this, either supportive or damage, and I choose to put more damage in here. Just keep in mind that this have cooldowns and also do 30% less damage, so don't expect too much out of this. So this one will give cluster grenades, so just essentially whenever you are in the middle of the pack, and you can trigger this Mirage Archer, so dodge roll right here. So this guy in the middle is gonna drop cluster grenades with Nova projectiles. So projectile is gonna fly in around the Mirage Archer with payloads, explode multiple times, and do a lot of damage, hopefully. And then the last one is Trinity. And for Trinity, I have Coal Mastery, +1 to level support. You can use Coal, Fire, and Lighting here. One of them, you cannot use all 3 of them because they are from the same category Mastery. And then for the last 2, I am running Vitality and Herbalism because we have more life now. So having 2% of max life per second is good. And also Herbalism will give us more life recovery from our flask, so we can actually keep up with our large HP pool. And I think that's pretty much everything about the skill gems. Like I said, it's still very early and very flexible. If you don't have all these spirits to roll on your gear, just make sure that you drop Overwhelming Presence first, and then into those support gems in Trinity Link, and try to keep everything else the same. Maybe you can drop another banners, but yeah. So I don't think I will talk too much on the passive skill trees. I think it's pretty standard. At this point, I have grab damage, and I'm going to look to grab more tankiness into the build. Look on Mobalytics, I have a more complete tree over there. I'm only level 76, so this is like the baseline, and I'm still missing a few points. But for the passive, for the Ascendancies actually, I am taking a solid plan for persistent buff to have 50% less reservations, which is why we can run all these aura. And I think they're all important, but mainly, you know, Trinities, Mirage Archers, those are like the heavy favorites of this patch. Now, I am also taking whoever paid best, and the massive glory regenerations helps a lot in keeping all your banners up, so you can kind of see here. We put down our banners, and we instantly recover, like, you know, we can go way above half before the duration of this banner disappear, which means that you can only need to attack a few times, so like maybe 1 or twice, in order to fully fill all these banner up again. So this is how you're gonna get perma banners in your map. I don't even need to go through the glory notes, but we have a few here. We already talked about this in the last video, but essentially it's a full heal anytime you drop a new banner. And in here, I break the skill trees into set 1 and 2. So I'm just gonna briefly talk on how it is, in case you guys forget. So you can see here, I have the Bleak Crossbow to be on weapon set 1, 1 over here, and set 2 over here. Now, traditionally, if you are running the setups from the campaign, you probably have something like this, because this crossbow is more important for the grenade builds, because it has the implicit for grenade skill fire additional projectiles. So if you want to invest in a single crossbow like this, and then go on to the second weapon set, and you can click locked the weapon set. So like that. Once you click, you're gonna have the same weapon used on both weapon sets. And all you need to do is go in here and configure your skills so that it's gonna pick the appropriate tree. So what I mean by appropriate tree is that weapon set 1 use whatever the... So now we have the same weapon, right? But weapon set 1 is whatever I spec on the tree to look like red color. And whatever weapon set 2 is, look like green color. So for example, you can clearly see here, green color, I have ballista number over here, which means that I want my mortal cannon to be in weapon set 2 setups, which means that I need to go in here, click on this arrow, use with weapon set 2 only. So if I were to be on a weapon set 1 like this, so now I'm on weapon set 1, you can see, now on 2, now on 1. If I were to summon mortal cannon, it's gonna auto swap to weapon set 2, just like that, and it's gonna use all the green button right here, and I set it up so for me personally, I run explosive shots on the weapon set 1, which means that if I reload and shoot like that, instantly swap back to weapon set 1, and my passive tree use all the red line right here, which is weapon set 1. And yeah, for my particular setups though, I'm running explosive shot. This is like the main skills where we go in maps and we shoots, right? We can drop totems, but we instantly go back and shoots. So this is our main skills. We wanna be using, passive notes that make this build tankier. I also do more damage as well. We have some fantastic new note that I added to the game. And yeah, for the rest of the skills, I think mortal cannon is on 2, explosive shot is on 1, oil grenade is on 2. So, remember grenades, totem, be on 2. And everything else just aura. So aura, it doesn't really matter. You could configure the aura as well, but we have way too much spirit, so I just want to spend all of these slots. And yeah, essentially that's how you set it up. So the first thing you do is make sure that your weapon set 1 and 2 follow my setups. And then you can, if you set up exactly like right? Red line, weapon set 1, explosive shots, blue line, green line, weapon set 2, totems, grenades, and banner as well. And yeah, so for the banners, I pretty much move the banner out from the weapon sets. This way, I can use it in both form, and I'm not like restricted to any missing notes or anything in case that happens. We still need to figure out a few more points here for totems. Some of these points are very good. And I just want to quickly point out that by the end game, right, I'm looking for notes that looks like this, right? Increase my armors. 15% of armor also apply to elemental damage. This is also pretty insane. So yeah, this is something for me to try out a bit later as we get deeper into the league and I get to actual T15 and T16 progressions. If I have to predict, it's probably not going to work that well in my opinions, but it's worth the shots and it's also very budget and cheap to test it out. And before I let you guys go, one final thing is the rotation and how to play this build. It's looking pretty simple, but there's a little bit you need to understand. First of all, you always need to place your totem first and then you shoot. If you do it this way, it's gonna feel a lot smoother because your totem is gonna shoot first and then you gotta shoot on top of the totem projectiles and it's gonna explode everything together. This is also why I kind of don't want to take cannons ready whenever you play the setups. This is a 2-button playstyle setups, but it can be pretty smooth once you get used to the playstyle. But yeah, this is my current setups in day 2. I have also updated the written guide on Mobalytics if you prefer to do a written format. And if you have any questions, ask that comment below. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.